Hello everyone and welcome back to Sketch by Sketch. If you're new here, my name is Emily and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to draw hair. You're going to need an eraser and you're also going to need some sort of pencil. You can use any kind, mechanical, colored, just regular pencil, anything works, or you can also use a pen. You can get this sheet of the blank faces in the description so you can color right along with me. Alright, so the first one we're going to do is just a really just basic, not straight but not all the way curly hairstyle, and I'm not really going to explain these like completely, just hopefully you can watch what I'm doing and maybe follow along, but I'm just going to give some tips along the way. You guys typically respond well to the types of tutorials like this when I just talk a little bit, so hopefully we can do that on the same way. You want to realize that the hairline is not like way back on the skull. It's a little bit more on the forehead, so if you draw the hair too back, then you're gonna get a weird look. So start it pretty close, like you can see if you're using my template, just start it on that top line there, and that's where your hair will be, and then it'll come up from there. And then I just drew the big swoop to really emphasize that she has a side part, and you can see the rest of what I've done there. I also made a cute curl at the bottom and then shaded the back part of the hair to make it look like it's behind that front piece that is coming forward. Also, don't be afraid to put some hair on the forehead. There's always going to usually be some hair, unless it's pulled back, that sits on the face, so make sure that you're adding that in to give it a more realistic look. This would be anything that is coming into the frame of the drawing that is on the page, as you can see if you're using my PDF that I put in the description. You can also follow along digitally if you just want to screenshot that image that is in the description, and you can use a digital drawing to draw right over top of it. Next one we're going to do is more of a middle part and a shorter straight hair. So I typically just like to give the hair a little bit of motion by drawing a slightly curled line, but it's pretty much straight to emphasize that the hair is in fact straightened. And then wherever you want to cut it off, the length of it, and you can just go ahead and do that, and then just make sure they line up on both sides. And I usually make a little indentation so it's not just straight. As you can see on both sides, there's like a little cut upwards in the hair. That just makes it look a little bit more cute and cartoony. This hair is behind the neck and behind the ears, so just go ahead and shade that in to put it backwards and make it look like that is what's going on there. Now we're going to draw just a little bit more of a like glamorous curly hair. So really big swoop. It's kind of like an S shape coming up from the forehead, and then it's a slanting line downward from that. And then you just want to start making these almost like bubble type shapes to create the curls. You can just watch what I'm doing here and you should be able to see. Just creating strands of hair, and the bottom is always going to curl upwards, as you can see right there. It looks a little bit more complicated, but if you just slow it down and pause, it's just basic lines that I've added some extra texture to make it look a little bit more complex. It's really simple actually. Do pretty much the exact same on the other side. Keep in mind that if your character has a side part, one side is going to be slightly more flat than the other, because the section with most hair, the side part, is going to have more hair and appear to be fuller. Alright, moving down to the bottom, I'm going to draw some side bangs. These are really hard to explain how to do. Please just watch what I'm doing. They're just going to swoop across the forehead, and of course the length of them can be different, but I typically like to have mine come to about the eyebrow length and a little bit onto the eye. And don't just draw them straight. Do a little bit more of a swooping motion with your wrist to try to get them to look a little more flowing and a little more realistic. Now the bottom of this hairstyle didn't really matter. I was just trying to show you how to draw the bangs, and I just drew that in for a little bit of a finished look. Alright, I recently got some curtain bangs, so why not try to draw them now? I also got a ton of layers, so I pretty much am drawing my hairstyle a little bit here. It's not exactly, and my hair is much longer than I draw here. But for the curtain bangs, it's the middle part, and the hair, it's like the side bangs, but you kind of split it in half and do it on both sides, kind of symmetrical. And then there's also going to be some longer pieces towards the ears, and if it's got layers, then you just want to keep drawing these kind of shaggy lines all throughout the hair to give it texture and make it look like there's different lengths in the hair. Okay, for our last hairstyle, we're just going to draw 2 French braids. This is not a braiding tutorial, this is more of like a hairstyle tutorial. So what I typically do is just draw 2 lines if it's 2 braids, starting at the part and then rolling down where I want the braids to sit. I also put these little curlies on the forehead and by the ears, just those little wispy pieces. And I could do a tutorial now I do braids some other time, but I'm not that great at it, so I didn't think I would talk about it right now. So just kind of watch what I'm doing and hopefully you can follow along. But if you really do want to see that tutorial, then I could definitely do that sometime soon. You're just going to continue that braid down, tapering the size of it down smaller until you get to where you want your hair tie to be, and then add a little curly cue at the end for the hair. That's the last hairstyle we're doing in this video. Hopefully you followed along. You can of course use that template to draw any kind of hairstyles and to practice. Hopefully there'll be a part 2 soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something. See you guys in another video. Goodbye.